Yeah, you must be chuffed with that win, mate.
Yeah, we wrapped. Obviously, very early on, they probably dominated. They had 17 inside 50s in the first quarter to our 5, so we're probably lucky we were still in the game. And even the start of the second quarter, their centre clearance work was really good. They had 9 centre clearances to our 0, and on North Hobart, if you're not winging it in there, it's pretty tough to be in front. So we just hung in there enough, and obviously after half time we were able to run away with it a little bit, even though the scoreboard suggested it was only a 4-goal win. But I think after half time we were the better side.
You must be happy they backed up after a big upset win, because you see in footy quite often there's big upsets and then they aren't backed up the week after.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, we actually went over to Belrive last week thinking we could win. So obviously out externally it's an upset, but we were confident we could win last week, and I think it's just a sign of the group's maturing and they've been able to train well during the week, and we've backed it up with another win today.
What were you particularly happy with?
I think on our small ground we were able to create space out the back, which obviously on the bigger grounds we can, but on this ground it's quite tough. But I think the way the forwards pushed up, covering off the Launceston defenders, which enabled us to get out the back, and also our tackling, I think we had nearly 50 tackles in the second half, so we're putting a fair bit of heat around the ball carrier, which enabled us to flick the footy out the back, and we probably scored 4 or 5 goals unopposed running in. So that was a really positive sign on a small ground.
The 2 Ws, Williamson and Willis, they were unbelievable up front.
Yeah, I think they all complement each other up there, with Blake Grant as well. Jonty Barwie's quick. Young Mitch O'Neill, 16-year-old, came in and played his first game. So you put 4 or 5 quick guys, combined with Kane Richter, who's obviously, he's been a stalwart of the game for a long time. He had experience up there. Jesse Maple just provides the contest. And these smaller guys, it's quite a luxury to be able to take one of them off and you put a quality player back on. So we've identified early pre-season that our forward pressure was the key to our game plan, and I think the boys have been really good in that in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
You must be happy with how you're sitting on the table and wins and losses, considering the start to the season wasn't all that.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, we are. We're back level now, 4-4. So to be honest, we've probably only had one really bad game, and that was round 1, and anything can happen in round 1. We had a lot of new players, quite a few debutants, so Glenorchy, obviously a quality outfit, and stitched us up. But I think since then we've been quite competitive every game. A bit of luck, we could have had a couple more wins, but we're back square at the Legend now, so we just now focus on Glenorchy.
You've still got some good players to come into the side as well. Obviously your Mariners boys were away today. You've got Big Dell to come back in as well, so it must be particularly pleasing to do that against Lonnie, a team that is pretty well rated.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they've been really good. Jaden Charlton also was a laid out today. He'll be back next week. He probably goes under the guard a little bit. He racks up his 25 every week. The Mariners will come back. They'll suit the way we want to play. Most of them use the footy really well. So, it creates a few headaches for the coaching staff, but I think it's a healthy thing to have to worry about.
Just on the coaching, I thought you nailed it today. Were you happy with the way the game played out? It seemed like you planned it nicely and it sort of went to plan.
Yeah, I mean, you always have things in place. Obviously, we had a different match-up for Mansell early in the game, and we switched that around because he looked very lively early. So Hugh Williams Sr. went on and did a really good job. We changed a few things down back. We probably put a couple of blokes that are real hard physical players down there, and that stemmed the flow a little bit. And obviously, we identified our speed forward was our major strength, and I think the way the boys move the footy that we're able to use that today. So yeah, it's nice. You put a lot of work in. I think, as Aaron said today in the paper, the way the media is, and we can access so much of the footy. You go into a game each week and you're really aware of the opposition's strengths and weaknesses.
Beauty. Going to the bye with a winning feeling, mate.
Yeah, it's nice. 3 in a row. We haven't done that at the club for a couple of years, so we'll have another hard week on the track, and I'd imagine they'll have the weekend off, and then we'll look forward to playing Glenorchy in 2 weeks' time.
Good. All right. Disappointed, Sam?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No.
How do you? What are your thoughts of the game?
I thought we played some really, really good footy in patches. I thought North played really well. I thought their second quarter was fantastic. We knew we had our backs against the wall and had some internal things and some outs and significant changes that we knew were coming down here for a pretty tough challenge.
You talked about the changes. No Hamish Leadham's a significant one. Do you think that was a massive factor in the outcome of the game?
We still won the clearances, so we still got a really good look at the ball coming out of there. So I don't think it's a factor. Certainly our inside 50 deliveries were a factor for us, and but that's fine tuning and making sure that we I guess aren't as panicked with the ball when we're coming out of our halfback transition.
Were you surprised by Hobart City at all, or is that pretty much what you expected from them?
No, it's exactly what I expected. Fast space over the back, easy goals at times if we make errors defensively.
Do you think your defence was a bit slow to react with the way they were moving it forward and getting over the back?
No, not at all. We're teaching a certain way to play, so I give our guys a full licence to go out there and learn it, and at times you make the wrong decision. But if you don't go and learn and make the wrong decision, you never actually improve. So for me, it's not about teaching robots. I could have gone out there and set them to all stand behind and cover that back easy kick, but they walk away tonight not learning anything and not actually developing their individual game and what they can and can't do.
You started well. Do you think it was a bit of a let-off in terms of your scoring? I think it was 5 goals, 8 you kicked.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We had a great first quarter. We had a side that was probably underdone coming into today, and the 4 quarters was always going to hurt us. And obviously their second quarter, I thought that 15 minutes into the half-time was fantastic. They had great pressure on the footy, and we had some guys that just struggled with the step up.
You said leader out didn't have a massive effect, but it did mean that O'Donoghue wasn't able to play forward and support sort of Sonny and stuff.
No, hands down, having Hamish is number probably anywhere from 1 to 3 state ruckman at this stage. Yep. So he's a massive out for us, and from a tactical point of view, when you see guys like Jake Smith and Nunny Jake Nunn doing a massive role in the ruckman, they're genuine not ruckman. So Nath rucked probably 70% of the game. So for 30% of the game, we were rucking a half forward flanker winger. I think I even took a couple as well. So we knew that that's a big out for us. But I think Nath did a good job getting his hand and giving the mids good use to it. So it's just total team. It lets us down.
You started really well in midfield, as you said, but do you think they climbed on top in that area? And are you a bit disappointed that you weren't able to sort of grab back the ascendancy through the middle of the ground?
No, I'm not sure we lost through the middle of the ground. I think stoppages were 48 to 32 from our stats, so that to me is a significant win. Transition out of the back line, I think they scored some easy goals with our defenders really trying to learn and develop how to play football in a best position type setup. So I wouldn't say that we lost through there. Uncontested marks, from our statistics, we got up, and I really back our guys to do the stats. They've got VFL experience. They were past Tassie Devils statistician, so I think they're generally pretty accurate. So across the course of the game, I'm certainly not mad. I just think that we lacked a team to get us across the line today.
So considering those stats, and they are in your favour, do you think it was a matter of just a bit of polish in terms of your use by foot?
Yes, certainly inside 50s going in. You take Leadham out of the ruck, and then you've got to put Nath into the ruck, and Nath hasn't. It's his second game back, so there was question marks on whether he could actually sustain playing a full game in the ruck. Then we lose a key man out of our forward line again, which has hurt us across the course of the year. So Sonny's doing a fantastic job. Rala Kelly Mance was doing a fantastic job, but Sonny's a small, Rala's a medium. Jake Nunn, in my opinion, is a medium as well, probably slightly bigger than a medium. So we had a forward line of not a great deal of height. So when you've got a spare sitting back, it's pretty tough for those guys to compete all day.
Who were you happy with from your point of view?
Jay Blackberry again. I think he had 16 or 17 tackles for the game, 33 disposals. Rala, obviously, really, really a good presence up forward, and Hobart City did a great job to hold him back in the second half. I thought Nath did a great job. Again, we threw him under the bus, but we had no other option. So he fought well and got through 70% game time. Jake Smith did well at times. I think at times he sort of, was a bit patchy, but then, pulled himself back and tried to play out the game. Across the board, we fought for 4 quarters. I think it was one of those games that you come in knowing that you're a little bit undermanned. A side gets on top of you, and quite easily that can turn into 50 or 60 point loss, certainly for our footy club where we've been in the past 2 or 3 years. So for it to, just linger in that 20 points, and for our guys and our senior guys just to have that belief and that confidence just to play out the game and really show the younger guys what it is about playing footy for the Launceston Footy Club. Scoring shots of 22 to 20. I haven't seen inside 50s yet, but I'm really interested to see what those, I've got them over there somewhere, I'm interested to see what those stats tell me, but I don't think we've been blown out of the water there either. It's just that inside 50 delivery, and obviously they played a spare that worked really well.
Thoughts on your own game, mate? I thought you were pretty good from the sidelines.
Yeah, felt relatively good. I think the stats tell me I was okay, but I've still got a bit of work to do. I'm still sore going into games. So this is the first one where I've come off actually a 6-day break or 7-day break and put a good performance forward. Now, whether I can do that again next week is another question. I'll test the body and go again and give it a fair crack. So it's a week by week thing for me at this stage. And this week I was probably a bit nervous. I saw calf, saw hammy, didn't do a great deal of training during the week. So I was actually worried about this week and performing, which gives me confidence that the body's held up and got through well today.
TSL results today were quite interesting. Is the league so that if you're off by 10 or 20%, you can get beaten by anyone?
Yeah, I had this question earlier. I'm not sure we're getting true teams at the moment. School footy is a massive influence. So if you're delivering a good program, it actually hinders you from a state point of view. So until we get our state boys back and school stops in 5 weeks, we're not going to really see what teams are capable of doing and how I guess deep their depth is in their side. So Casey Brown played last week against Hobart. He's a Mariner and didn't get selected and he was probably our best on ground against Hobart Tigers last week. So for us not to be able to select him because of school footy, and there was 2 others in that boat as well that we couldn't bring up, which gave other guys opportunities and they did really well today and they got a good taste of a side that play good footy.
Big test next week, back at home, a couple of weeks away now, hosting Glenorchy, who will be absolutely chomping at the bit to get a win.
Yeah.
How do you approach that one, I guess?
Not even the other 6 or 7 games we play. We roll in and we've got our focus that we want to do, and if that ends in a win, it ends in a win. But we're under no illusion as a footy club and as a playing group that we're not going to turn out and win a flag in the first 12 months. We've got to put a really strong foundation in place and make sure that we're actually working towards some focus points and some things that the group can actually achieve. Once we achieve that, then we'll go again. So next week, nothing changes. We go out there, we do our thing, and we see where that ends us.